Hey, this is Wookie from Mandala Studios. Welcome to the workshop. Today we're making a larp safe shield. So to start with, we're just going to cut out the blank of the form roughly. So grabbing a other shield that we're making to get a vague idea of the size, we draw around it roughly, and then we're just going to cut it out with a sharp knife. I don't need to be too accurate at this point. I'm going to neaten it all up in a bit. This is just so I've got something easier to work with. Then I need to work out the centre, so I make a few chords, bisect those and find the centre, then draw around my boss form to give me a vague idea for the centre point, and then neatly cut out the circle. Now I take a template we've got made and position that on the circle for the boss, set up a router, set it to cut a channel the right size for the core I'm using in this case. I'm going to mark out the shield size. For this I know that it happens to be the size of my little template plus the width of the router. Could be anything. I could have used many ways of getting a better circle. I often cut them out on the laser. This is just what I did this time. Then it's a case of running it through the bandsaw to get a nice smooth round edge. Then we're going to add the core in place and the reinforcement. So we cut the core to the length of the bandsaw, give it a quick sand, and make it sure it fits. Then we're going to cut out some little leather reinforcement patches and work out exactly where they're going to go and notch them so they go around the corner neatly because we don't want them to gap. And then just trimming a bit of space for the leather itself and gluing those in place. I'm using the core itself to push them right into the corner so that everything is as sealed and tight as I can get it. Then I prep the core with a bit of IPA, get rid of any solvents and grease on it, then we glue that in place. I open up the channel and then just push it right back in and push it down. You see there's a bit of gapping around the edge where the leather radius is, so I just backfill that with some hot glue so I've got a flush surface to glue the next patch down to evenly. So I cut out some more squares of leather, glue those down to the ends over the reinforcement patch on the front. I'm using EvoStick 5-8 glue as normal here. Then head over to the vac former, do the boss. So we cut out a sheet of 12mm foam or 9mm foam, about the right size, and we set up our vac former with a couple of bosses, clamp the foam in place, and heat it up. After a little while it gets hot and soft, and you can push the forms up and vacuum form them down. Then I just push down the edges with some rings of MDF to make sure everything's neat corners as I can get. Leave that to cool and pop it off. Then we're going to add some back bracing. So this is LD70 foam that I cut out on the laser to a design that runs around the boss, up over the core and out to the side perpendicular to that core slot to reinforce the back and stop the foam being too wobbly. And there you go, that's the laser lasing in all its hypnotic glory. And that gives us our back reinforcement. Quick trace around that to give me an area I'm going to glue, and glue it down. Thin layer of glue either side, and we're all good. Carefully line that up, making sure the ends of the core are covered. Push it down. Pay careful attention to where it's over the leather because there's a bit of extra thickness there. Then I walk over it with my shoes off to really clamp it down. Now we're going to add the details. You can see I've already scored some lines in to get some planking and put a strip around the outside, and now I'm just gluing the boss on. I lost the footage or didn't film it of that bit, so there you go. And now we're laser cutting out the artwork that the client wanted. This was a stylized bear and fish. which we drew, traced off a few different images from the internet and see what the client wanted. He changed it a bit, and we put those in position, and then I use a spray glue to hold them in place because there's no force on them really. I'm spraying over the whole surface. I'm going to prime it that way for later. And I've got someone standing up above it to make sure my positioning looks about right from parallel, or perpendicular rather. I carry on the cutout notches onto the designs, then just give it a quick sand, take off any hard corners, just using the power file, just make everything neat, and I write out and sand the bit around the boss for the hand grip. Waft over it with a heat gun to take off any stringy bits of glue and soften any of the burn, to get rid of any of the fuzzy bits from burning, burn off any of the fuzzy bits from the sanding, and it's off to latex. So first we prime it with spray glue, as I said before, making sure to get rid of any fluffy bits. Then we spray it with a few layers of latex, doing the front and the back all in one go because I was trying to get this done relatively quickly. You could also do it one side at a time if it's easier and you haven't got space to hang it up like I do. Then we go on to the next layer. I normally do 3 or 4 layers of base coloured latex, or black in this case, or brown or whatever, and then onto the details. So for this I'm painting the wood grains blue, the boss and the rim in silver, and the animals in gold. So it's just a case of brush that on in lots of layers, build up colours. I use a brush on the wood bits to keep a streaky wood grain look in the colours, and then I brush it onto the animals and then stipple it with a sponge to get a beaten metal look. And I think on the boss I stippled it with a brush to get a different texture again. But I'm not sure you can see that. Yeah, there's a whole load missing here where I did lots more latexing, but here's the finished piece, as you can see. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you don't forget to like and subscribe.